It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Telephone number 870-275-9799. The Patriots of Act 746 are on a mission to educate you, your neighbors, everybody in the state of Arkansas about what their gun rights are. Here in Arkansas, we're a constitutional carry state. This is by court precedent now, as well as the Arkansas General Assembly through resolutions of both chambers. Essentially, back in 2013, there was a law passed that decriminalized the possession of a firearm, increasing the burden of proof when you're carrying a weapon. And so what that means is you can carry a gun here in the state of Arkansas, open or concealed, without a permit or a permission slip, if you will, from the government. It's a big deal. And the Patriots of Act 746 have been right over the last 5 years. Every time they're challenged, they end up being right. Here now to talk more about this great organization, we have with us former state senator Linda Collins is back on the program. Linda, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Just real quick, I mean, I want to get into talk a little bit about some guns, but I'm sure as a former senator, you were monitoring the situation down at the Capitol. I know you were down there a few times on some pretty big gun legislation.
Yes, Paul, before I ever ran for office, and, I ran in 2010 the first time. That was one of the issues that was very important to me when conversations just started happening in the legislature about, what some called open carry, which was constitutional carry. And I was very upset because I thought we have that right constitutionally. So, I can remember I tried to fight for our rights, our inalienable God-given right to defend ourselves. And I've tried to fight for that since I ran the first time. And it's a shame that I will say I was very disturbed when at times we've had to fight our own Republicans. That's part of our platform is, I just am very upset about that because, that should be easy. That's you call it the low-hanging fruit. And I just call it that's when we shouldn't battle. That's our platform issue. So it's been a shame at times. But, yes, I've invested my own time and money to make sure that I help defend our Second Amendment rights to bear arms.
Yeah.
Because, see, that's also for my children and for my grandchildren. And we just have to do that.
So tell me about your involvement. Like, when did you first hear about the Patriots of Act 746? And I'm sure you found them as a very valuable tool in terms of getting information to the people.
Actually, yes. I cannot remember now, but it's been at least probably, feels like 6 years ago, probably. And I remember someone introducing me to Gary Epperson and said you need to talk to him about, 2A issues. And I did. And they told me for a lot of reasons why I should talk to him, and I did. And the great thing about talking with people like Gary Epperson and now we have Tim Loggins is that Gary Epperson knows the gun laws. He became an expert, as he said, because he had to. Someone had to correct people when they were wrong in quoting the law, and they also have to educate people. And I've learned a lot from Gary because I asked him, there were things I just didn't know. And he knew the laws where I just thought we were supposed to have the right and knew we did to carry a gun. But he knew the laws and he could quote those. Mm-hmm. And he's a valuable asset. And Tim Loggins now involved, I'm telling you, they know those laws inside and out.
Yes.
And it's kind of like Gary said, it's because he had to become an expert on those laws. And thank God we have him because he is, and he's led a great team of people and grassroots effort across the state, and he's got a lot of good help.
You're not supposed to mention Gary's name, though, Linda. He's like the John Galt of Arkansas. Who is Gary Epperson? You don't really know. So, go ahead.
That may be, and he does that, but you asked, and I told you.
I know.
And so now a few people know that I know him.
Yeah, no. I'm just joking. But hey, I will say one of the high points of the of the session was these two resolutions. You had one carried by Brant Smith, State Representative Brant Smith, Senator Scott Flippo, and these resolutions essentially declared, hey, we're just agreeing with the circuit court decision. Arkansas is a constitutional carry state. You don't need you don't need a license or a permission slip to carry open or concealed. Now, that was pretty big that those two resolutions passed both chambers, because realistically speaking, there still are other people in positions of power that continue to promote this idea that you do need a permission slip from government.
That's exactly right. Some people think that, but that resolution just stating the facts again. It wasn't necessary to have to do that, but in some ways, for some, it was necessary. It was excellent that bill passed, and that when Tim Loggins and Brant Smith presented that bill, it was a shame the one in the House that took 2 days and should not have, because as we say, they chase rabbits, or they go too many different directions, and they were fighting about other things instead of just voting on what that resolution was about. I testified on that bill, and just said, bring it back. You're not voting on any other legislation. Some of you were here when this legislation went through. And I think that, once they voted and passed that, you hear kind of silence from, the governor's office about this legislation, but I think they have no any choice. They have none, except to affirm that the gun laws that we have are there, and that that they'll uphold the law. And at some point, we need to not have people fighting us on our Second Amendment rights in Little Rock, and that's like our governor. It should not happen. It's not acceptable.
Did you see this article? I think, unfortunately, I think there's a little bit of journalistic malpractice. There's an article back on April 29th, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, few gun bills gained approval from Arkansas lawmakers in session. And I guess I read the whole thing, and, it seems to be leaning towards the fact that, the NRA just wasn't able to get the stuff they wanted to get passed this time and everything else. And it was a real victory for Democrats. And I'm thinking to myself, the NRA, they're not very good at passing gun laws, and nor have they been for the last couple of years here in Arkansas. But, if you want to get something done legislatively when it comes to gun laws, it's the Patriots of Act 746 that actually know how to get something passed. At least that's my observation.
They do, and they know how to keep something from passing, to stop some legislation. And you've got to remember, when the bad piece of legislation passed, which I call the enhanced carry mess, and the battle to keep that bill from being an act, I can tell you that we went from 3,000 members to 6,000 that first year after session in 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. Is that right? 15? No, it was 17.
I'm not sure. It's up to 17,000 or 18,000 now. So
that's right. And the next year it went to over 17,000 people. And that's members of an organization that united, that have been being educated, and they have district leaders, and we're in Northeast region, and so they have them across the state, those different regions. Some of us go to those other meetings. I haven't been to every one of them. I haven't been to Northwest Arkansas yet, but I can tell you that I will be. I will go. I'm that passionate about protecting our unalienable rights, keep and bear arms. And they're organized. They united. They organized a great grassroots group of activists, and that means more than getting sitting on the sofa doing Facebook. That group of people, we are going from area to area, bringing people to them. The last meeting in Paragould was somewhere around 60 people in that meeting, and it's getting spring, it's summer, and it was a wonderful day. And we educate. We talk to them about, for instance, how do you go to the legislature, and how do you talk to legislators? You better talk to them before you go and attack them. They may never talk to you again. So build a relationship. Thank them for their work, because they work hard. When they vote, they may know something that you don't know. And so you need to ask before you attack. But by all means, you can be passionate, but be respectful. And so I think that we've taught people how to go, we teach the laws. What is that law about? What you can't do, and we're not as doing it as legal advice. We're doing it as knowing the law, learning our laws, and sharing those accurately. The website is one of the best websites you can go to because there is Facebook on their page. There are so many people monitor that at any given point, if you ask a question, there's going to be a thread responding to that, and somebody will make sure that information is correct and how you can put that information in and how to put it to work, okay?
Yeah.
So, Paul, when you're talking about a grassroots group of people, think about the people and us going all over the state, every month. And somewhere in your area, there's going to be a meeting near you, and you're going to hear everything that's going on. We brought legislators. We had, 4 or 5 legislators at the event, and we seem to start having that at almost every event. So those legislators can answer questions, but they should show up. They may not show up at every single one of them. We understand that. But when it's near them, they need to try to make that effort, and they do. They're coming. And what's amazing is how many have learned so much about the laws and how they operate, how they work. And so I think that that's been wonderful because we all think that, we support Second Amendment. Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that if you vote for this one piece of legislation, you've actually caused 40 pages of regulations, and the bill, they can't even enforce parts of it. So you see what I'm saying? We educate them and train them.
You're some guy named John Galt on Facebook did bring up what you just brought up, that the NRA did bring the enhanced carry from 2 years ago, which has been a disaster in terms of, it was just because it was a bill that was a political bill, not an actual good policy bill.
That's exactly right.
And it did have all those regulations that you're talking about. I want to announce a few things here. There's a regional Patriots of Act 746 meeting in Fort Smith, Arkansas that's coming in June, so you want to watch out for those dates. And then we also have Patriots of Act 746 meeting in Arkadelphia on May 25th. That's according to John Calvin Martin. So anyway, like you said, there's meetings everywhere, Linda.
That's great. And then there's a meeting I want to mention, if you don't mind, right now, Paul. October the 10th, we're going to have a special meeting in the Rotunda of the Capitol. And we're going to have Chris Ann Hall there. And we built a relationship with Gun Owners of America. And we're hoping, I think it's confirmed that Eric Pratt will be there.
Wow.
And he is now I guess you call him the president of the company, of GOA, Gun Owners of America. They are the only organization that truly stands firm on not negotiating, and I love that organization. And we built a relationship with them, and it started when I called Larry Pratt to get help back in at the time the enhanced carry. That bill was hijacked, just a little old bill. That's why you have to be careful when gun legislation is there, or any piece of legislation. It was just a little old bill that let professors carry on campus at first, and then that bill was hijacked. And, Jeremy Hutchinson presented that hostile amendment, and it was just a nightmare that caused the citizens of Arkansas to realize they have to unite. And so we want to make sure that everyone comes to the meeting on the 10th at the Rotunda. They can always continue to get more information as it comes available, but it'll probably start somewhere that morning, and it'll go through lunch. After lunch. So we're excited about that work, and she's such a constitutional, she literally is just a scholar. So you've met her, so you know her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Her presentations are compelling. She's an amazing teacher, and I think that's, there are a lot of great teachers out there, but she was gifted in teaching to the point where, her knowledge on the Constitution, first principles, the concept behind sovereign states that temporarily delegate power to the federal government, just absolutely fantastic. And so I'm excited about that coming up in October. Chris Ann Hall going to be talking about the Constitution, at our state capitol. That's going to be a big deal. Hopefully there can be a ton of legislators that'll turn out and listen to what she has to say. Now, we're talking with Linda Collins with Patriots Fact 746. Now, Linda, real quick, I wanted to ask you a question about, I guess last time I talked to you, you were going to Washington, D.C., or maybe you have been a few times. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing there?
Well, there's when I was chair of judiciary, we brought in a lady from. Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I met with Gun Owners of America's Larry Pratt and continued to discuss how far we've gone in a year's time since I had talked to him a year and a half prior to that in our grassroots efforts and how many members. And so they are really in contact with us now. I put him in contact with Gary Epperson, and from there we are going to continue to forge that relationship, and they will be very well represented in the state of Arkansas. There will be a lot of members with them. And so I can tell you they have a presence, and it's starting to build. Look at our membership. And if you don't think that we don't mention Gun Owners America, you can bet your bottom dollar we do. And so we love what that organization does. And so that was one of the things I did when I was there. I met with him, and he made contact with Patriots of Act 746.
Nice.
And then so with Real, they're coming in October. And so then the other thing I did, of course, was if you've ever met or heard of Catherine Hall. Catherine is an angel mom, and she came and spoke and gave a very brief talk about how when how her daughter was ran over by a man going 70-something mile an hour, and the children were doing like 30 to 35 mile an hour on a scooter. Her daughter was 20 years old, had a 2-year-old child, and they ran over and it killed her. And the brutal death. And I won't go into that part, but the reason that she came was so that we could also bring up, and also it severed the legs of this gentleman that she was with. And so his life is without, is changed forever. All of those families.
And he was an illegal immigrant. He wasn't supposed to be here?
Yes, he's an illegal immigrant, and not immigrant to me, they're just aliens.
Yeah, I'm sorry, illegal alien.
That's okay. They're just here wrong. They come and break the law and don't be. Yeah, that's right. And they just don't make any efforts. Well, when he bonds out, he gets married now and has a child. So yes, he pleads finally guilty. Remember, this man fled. He fled the scene and finally turned himself in. And so I say to you that story. Then we start questioning. It took about a year of getting information, like pulling teeth, even for legislators sometimes. But you finally get enough information, and we had her at the state capitol, and she gave a brief testimony and showed them the pictures and discussed that, this probably wouldn't have happened, if this man had not been there. So I bring to you that even Arkansas has angel family, they're angel moms, angel dads. We have those here. And when we brought that information to light, one thing that we found out during all of this questioning is no one handles arresting and the process of an illegal the same. And that's a shame. There's no plan to, what do you do with them? When do you find out they're illegal? We did all of that type of question. We brought prosecutors in, we brought mayors in to talk to us, and the only person, the only group, the only agency that treats the same is the state police. They're across the state, and they handle their arrests the same. They have a protocol that we can get. We don't even know how they process it. For instance, even in my town, in your city, we do not know what would happen if an illegal's arrested. At what point do they find out, and what happens next? And so I think that was it's horrible for that family to have to go through that. They had to call the ICE people themselves. And so that story, I went up with them to the Capitol. There was a press conference, and so I was with them.
And this was in Washington. This was in Washington?
That was in Washington, D.C. at the state, Capitol, and it was wonderful to be there and to go in. And I also went with those families to Nancy Pelosi's office, and it was a very, no one did anything wrong, and they called the police officers, and they stood there. There wasn't anything for the police officers to do except for me to talk to them and tell them, they're very surprised that Nancy Pelosi that time let them stay in her office and they recorded in that front office of Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. And so I will say to you that that is a shame, the treatment from the U.S. House of Representatives, that those people will turn a blind eye to see what's going on at our borders and let's not have security. So for our families, mine and yours, I am, passionate about hoping that we can get something done to protect, bring attention and get something done to give us safety in our country.
Yeah. Former Senator Linda Collins, it's great that you're still involved in the fight, representing Patriots Vet X746 here in this segment, and as well as going and protesting outside Nancy Pelosi's office. You're committed to the cause, and I really appreciate that, Linda. It's great to have you on. And
I was there, I saw you there when Rep. Smith did his piece of legislation as well. But please join Patriots Act 746. Become a member. It's easy. And the main reason you need to, you can unite, ask any question, participate, and learn to be a good activist for saving our Second Amendment rights.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate it. You have a great week.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
All righty, folks. We're going to take a break. If you want to join that group, Patriots Vac 746, just search that term on Facebook and ask to become a member of the online sensation today.